Hi, happy Wednesday. I'm Dave Richmond. I'm running for Congress for the Massachusetts 3rd. I wanted to say why I'm running. I've been meaning to for a couple days now, but I wanted to have a good enough explanation of myself, which when I thought that I was going to run, I thought, well, if I can vote for somebody and if I could go and collect signatures for somebody, that would be enough. So I looked through the list, and all my life, people have been telling me that I'm a Democrat, just because I'm working class, and, Franklin Delano Roosevelt 70 years ago was for working people. That's as much as I know. So I went through the list, and I thought I had found a candidate in Juana Matias out of Lawrence. She's got a good story. She comes from a working class family, apparently, and did AmeriCorps and was a social worker. Seems like her heart's in the right place. So I contacted her the only way I knew how, which was to contact her at the State House. She won an election last year for Lawrence representative in the Massachusetts State House. So I contacted her there, asking her if there was a better place to contact her. And I got a reply back from a woman named Emily, I think, who was part of a political organization. See if I've got the note. America Now or something like that. It's newpolitics.org. And this was a new idea to me, that I would contact a candidate and a political organization or someone from a political organization would contact me back. So it struck me as a little odd. I mean, but it was nice to get a response from anybody, and I don't know what the connection is. Apparently, just newpolitics.org. Apparently, they're all about servant leaders. So if you were in AmeriCorps, they'll help you run a campaign. If you were in the military, they'll help you run a campaign. I don't understand. So apparently, the woman Emily and Juana Matias probably work together in AmeriCorps, and that's the connection. So it may have nothing to do with the newpolitics.org. Anyway, I'm sorry for rambling. Anyway, yeah, that was a little bit of a surprise that there would be this third outside influence connecting to voters on behalf of Juana Matias. And in my critical thinking, I thought, well, this newpolitics.org, they themselves are a political player. And what if the political players behind Dan Coe, who has got the most money right now, I think, what if those political players got together with newpolitics.org and says, well, this is the way this race is going to go? How is that democracy? So I was a little bit turned off by that, although Juana Matias might be a great candidate. I don't know where she stands on the issues. Healthcare is a big one for me. I want to see a single-payer system. It's about time. It's just about time. Just do it. I don't see what the reluctance is. I don't see why people won't come out for it. So it's not that I haven't looked to find out what Juana Matias stands for. It's just I haven't found it yet. So anyway, this is my difficulty. This is why I'm running, because I want to have someone that I can go in and vote for, and I know what I want to see in the country. I know what I want to see, you know, how I want the future to go. I want people to develop their human potential. I don't think putting people in jails is the way to do it. I think the precarious nature of the economy right now, and by that I mean, if I get hurt, I'm done for, you know? First they take the $20,000 that I put away because I'm a construction worker and there's going to be lean times for me. I know that. First, that's going to go if I get hurt. Then I'm going to have to do something about my house. I'm going to have to downsize. Hopefully I'll be smart enough to be able to shift out of my house. And I love my house. I don't want to have to do that. But that's what I'll have to do. I'll have to shift out of my house and try to get whatever equity I can out of it to pay for the hospital bills, because if I'm hurt, I'm not working. I've got a great gig as a union electrician, but I have to work to have the insurance. You know, we're all in a catch-22 here, you know? All of us that are working with insurance supplied by employers, we're all stuck, you know? So that's a big one. I mean, just providing security for our fellow neighbors, for the people that we see on the street. I mean, if someone came to the door bleeding, we wouldn't turn them away. Why is it so hard to get a reasonable healthcare system? I just don't get it. I was watching on New England cable news, I was watching Barbara L'Italian talk to Sue O'Donnell, I believe her name is. Let me get her name right. Sue O'Connell, I'm sorry, Sue, who was interviewing and has been interviewing political candidates for Massachusetts 3rd. And Barbara L'Italian answered the question saying, well, the first thing we need to do is to shore up Obamacare, you know, and maybe down the road we can have single payer or something like it. Oh my God, when down the road do we get to be human? You know, it's always a decision about those other people. And how can you ask someone to vote for you if you're considering them those other people? Anyway, I kind of wanted to go on a list, but I got off rambling, you know, because there are 12 Democrats. So let me go back to my list and run off, because like I said, if I could find someone that I could vote for happily, I would do it. I would do it. I would keep my Saturdays to myself. Right now, I love coming home, eating a big meal. You know, I lie in bed, I put on a movie, and I doze off, you know? It's a good time. I'd love to do that, you know? That's why I'm running, so that I can do that. I want to be able to, you know, change the society. So that's all right to do. Jeez. First in the list, this is the alphabetical list. I got this off of ballotpedia.com, which is good for a list. So I go to Ballotpedia, I see who the latest candidates are, and then I can go to a search engine and see what comes up for the candidate. So Alexandra Chandler, I wish I had taken better notes now. From what I remember, she was, or maybe still is, a naval intelligence officer. Her story is that her spouse was trapped in the subway and she wanted to use her what was it that she studied? I can't remember. I mean, she's a smart person. I believe it was something in computers or engineering or something like that. Oh, sorry about that. Let me, I hope you'll let me do some emendations. I'm doing this in between. I mean, I'm doing this with the time I have. So at any rate, she went into naval intelligence. And so she's running as that, as a law and order candidate, which is strange for someone who's running as a law and order candidate to be running as a Democrat. Alexandra Chandler makes no secret she's a trans woman, and it's interesting that a trans woman, I mean, the stereotype or the expectation is that any transgender person would be in conflict with the ruling patriarchy, that system that we have. But here's someone who is embracing that, you know, all intelligence everywhere. I'd love to talk to her. I'd love to talk to her and see where she's coming from. Let me move on. Abhijit Das, who goes by Beej Das, from what I can gather from the internet, he is the CEO of Troca Hotels. They look like, you know, upper middle class to luxury hotels. They look like beautiful places. He said something in an interview somewhere, I think I got it from India West of all places, which is, I'm not even sure who publishes that newspaper. But out of there, I got it from India West. He gave them an interview and he was saying that he wanted to turn the economy around in Lowell. And the economy is it seems to be pretty good. I live in Belvedere, which is, if you don't know, it's kind of suburban. It's very close to Tewksbury. I'm lucky. I can walk to the center of Lowell. I can walk to Merrimack Street in about 20 minutes. It's too cold to do now. I like to ride my bike when the weather's good. I can ride my bike there and get to Jackson Street in about, 5-10 minutes. But anyway, I don't see the economy being so bad in Lowell. I am afraid of someone like Beej Das. I don't want a casino in Lowell. I don't want to see a big hotel in Lowell. I like Lowell the way it is. I like walking down the street and seeing the working class people. I'm working class, so of course, but Lowell does have its funky side too. It's got UMass Lowell. There's Mill Number 5, which is just a great place. Just a great place where a lot of the artistic element and people that are trying to realize a different way of existing are, setting up shops. So that's great. And honestly, someone like Beej Das, CEO of a hotel chain, saying, we're going to fix the place up. scares the hell out of me. Scares the hell out of me. Third on the list is Rufus Gifford. And Rufus Gifford, I don't know if he is now. Probably not. He was ambassador to Denmark, which sounds like a pretty good gig. It really sounds like a fantastic gig. Go be ambassador in a safe Nordic state, you know? When you Google him, or when you use a search engine and type in Rufus Gifford, what you get, though, is Charles K. Gifford, who is Chairman Emeritus of Bank of America. And he's not Chairman Emeritus of Bank of America for no good reason. I mean, this guy's a serious businessman. I don't think he went under when the rest of us did, when I lost 15% out of my 401k. I don't think he hurt. I don't think he lost 15% of anything. But that's the father, and the father casts such a huge shadow over Rufus Gifford. He was in charge of something of Barack Obama's, you know, which is a good play, but it's hard to... He was in charge of the campaign, one of the campaign, maybe the first campaign, something in there. But even that, it's hard to say. Someone said, get Rufus Gifford, he's the guy. It's easier to look and see someone say, get Rufus Gifford, his father is Charles Gifford. And it's unfair, but that's the reality of it. Rufus Gifford, to get out of his father's shadow, isn't going about it the right way. If he wanted to, he would have to, like, totally rebel. He would have to become an activist. It's not going to happen. Next on the list, the fourth out of 12, is Steve Kerrigan. He seems like a decent guy. He's probably been backseated too much, and that is probably the only thing. I mean, he's coming from old school Democrat stock, if you consider Ted Kennedy that. You know, so it's a good place to be coming from. He was an intern for Ted Kennedy. He worked for him for 10 years. He became an important staffer for Ted Kennedy. But he has probably been backseated in his own political ambitions because of that, you know. He doesn't seem like a bad guy, but I don't know where he is as a Democrat these days. He may be just tossing on the ocean, in which case he has to decide whether he's going to join with the Bernie Sanders progressive movement, where it's time to push for, you know, healthcare for all, education for all. It's time to push for these things. Or is he going to try to get in good with the Clintonian machine, which is, you know, Abhijit Das, you know, CEO of Troca Hotels, you know, or even Alexandra Chandler running the inside route on naval security. Again, I'd love to talk to her to see where she's coming from. So that's Steve Kerrigan. I would say, Steve, your Wikipedia page could be rewritten probably in a better way so that your political contests don't say Steve Kerrigan ran for this and lost. I don't know who's writing that stuff. If you can, you should take control of it and, you know, change the rhetoric a little bit. The next person on the list, the 5th out of 12, is Dan Coe. I'm sorry if I got the pronunciation wrong. I hope that's right. Dan Coe, I don't know if he's currently chief of staff. Probably not. He probably resigned in order to run for the Massachusetts 3rd. So he was chief of staff for Mayor Marty Walsh in Boston, which, yeah, seems weird, but there's a few people on the list here that are rediscovering that they were born in the 3rd, which, you know, what can you do? I guess in 2012 it was the 5th, essentially, you know, when things redistrict. How do you hold a sense of place? I mean, that's a theme that we're living through right now. How do you hold a sense of place? But anyway, Dan Coe, chief of staff, has, I don't know, probably has $1 million already. I don't know who his donors are, but apparently he's being backed by political heavyweights, or at least money heavyweights. Barbara L'Italian is the 6th, and I got to hear her, as I was saying earlier, I got to hear her on the New England cable news, which was great. It was a short interview, and all I can remember is not being able to understand a word of it. You know, let me explain what I mean. There's a type of political speech that comes at us, and you know that people are just trying to hit certain phrases, you know. So she says leadership 3, 4, 5, 6 times. She again talks about, I can't get over the healthcare stuff. You know, it just, when I'm thinking about it, why can't you just say universal healthcare now for my voters, you know, for the people I represent? That's where I'm coming from. I need myself healthcare. My autistic child needs healthcare. There's probably hundreds, thousands, you know, tens of thousands voters in my district that need healthcare, and they're not getting enough of it. Why do you go, well, first we need to shore up Obamacare, and then we can think about sometime in the future being human to the rest of the people in the Massachusetts 3rd District? So seeing her on New England cable news, and I got to see, I can't remember who, I got to see someone else talk to Rosie O'Connell. Am I getting it wrong? Oh, I'm sorry, Sue. Sue O'Connell is the interviewer on New England cable news. I got to see Sue O'Connell interview another person, and it doesn't sound to me like they're talking to people who they want to vote for them. It sounds to me like they're auditioning for a donor class, if you know what I mean. You know, just the buzzwords, just the whole interview process, just the 3 minutes and go. It's a little bit discouraging. Anyway, that's the world that we live in. So that's 6. Let me do 6 tomorrow. It's a little bit of work to go do the Wikipedia. Anyway, thanks for listening. Talk to you again later.